In the heart of a dense and mysterious jungle, Xena and Gabrielle walked along a misty trail, surrounded by the unsettling cries of birds and the constant rustling of trees. Drawn by an anonymous letter filled with ominous warnings, they found themselves in a desolate campsite surrounded by statues of Amazon warriors, partially covered in moss. The tension in the air was palpable, as if the jungle itself whispered ancient secrets. Their mission was clear: uncover what was draining the life force of the Amazons and prevent their extinction. The looming sense of danger kept both women on high alert. Xena, with her sharp eyes, scanned the surroundings while Gabrielle gripped her staff tightly, a shiver running down her spine. Despite the mystery, they knew they could not ignore the call for help. Something terrible was about to unfold, and the fate of the Amazons now rested in their hands. As they examined the edges of the campsite, Xena and Gabrielle heard a muffled noise coming from within a weathered tent. Cautiously, they approached, their weapons ready for any threat. Inside, they found Adara, a young Amazon warrior, wounded and visibly shaken. Her eyes carried a haunted look, and her trembling lips spoke of exhaustion and fear. Adara could barely speak, but managed to explain that an invisible force was capturing Amazons and draining their life force. Xena listened intently, realizing that the situation was far more complex than they had anticipated. Amid her desperation, Adara revealed an ancient map that referenced a prophecy buried deep within the jungle. The three decided to follow the clues, each of them feeling the weight of the mission they had now undertaken. The silence of the jungle seemed to harbor unseen dangers, waiting for the right moment to strike, testing their resolve with every step. As they ventured deeper into the jungle, the path grew increasingly treacherous. Vines seemed to come alive, and thorns appeared out of nowhere, scratching their skin and making progress difficult. Gabrielle, distracted while trying to protect Adara, nearly fell victim to a vine that moved like a serpent. A startled cry escaped her lips, but Xena, with unmatched precision, hurled her chakram, severing the living plant and freeing her companion. Though injured, Adara insisted on pressing forward, producing an old map that pointed to a hidden temple. With every step, they felt pursued by something unseen, a presence that seemed to observe their every move. The tension mounted, and Xena knew they were approaching something far greater and far more dangerous than they had initially imagined. After hours of grueling travel, the trio arrived at the temple marked on the map. The structure was partially cloaked in vegetation, its weathered walls adorned with ancient runes. Inside, the inscriptions told the story of an entity known as Thalassa, a being that dwelled between worlds and had been sealed away by the Amazons centuries ago. According to the prophecy, Thalassa was now attempting to break free, threatening not only the tribe, but the entire jungle. To stop her, Xena needed to find a hidden amulet, while Gabrielle and Adara were tasked with distracting the forces guarding the site. Every decision felt pivotal, and the weight of their responsibility grew as time seemed to slip away from them. Within the temple, Xena faced a series of deadly challenges. Enchanted swords sprang from the floor, moving with precision to block her path. She relied on her agility and experience to dodge the traps and press on. Meanwhile, Gabrielle discovered an ancient book in an adjacent room. The fragile pages detailed the ritual required to imprison Thalassa once more. Adara, despite her weakening state, noticed that the forces guarding the temple were not human but shadowy manifestations of the captured Amazons. Each revelation added to the peril they faced, as the temple seemed to be alive, reacting to their every step. The air was thick with a foreboding energy, and every sound seemed amplified, as if the temple itself was challenging their courage and determination. As night fell, the atmosphere around the temple grew more ominous. The group was surrounded by spectral figures that began to drain Adara's vital energy, leaving her increasingly frail. Xena fought valiantly against the shadows, but quickly realized that physical attacks were futile. Amid the chaos, Gabrielle re-examined the ancient book and proposed an improvised ritual to create a magical barrier that could repel the shadows. Though incomplete, the spell was sufficient to drive the creatures away temporarily. However, the cost was great. Adara was now on the brink of collapse. The tension among the three women was palpable, but they understood the time was running out to save the Amazons and stop Thalas's resurgence. With the situation growing dire, Adara made a devastating confession. She was the last guardian of the amulet required for the ritual, and her lineage was directly tied to Thalas's existence. Without her, the ritual could not be completed. Despite the risks, Xena resolved to take Adara to the heart of the jungle, where the amulet was hidden, even knowing the journey might cost the young Amazon her life. Gabrielle, though hesitant, trusted Xena's judgment and pledged her support. The path to the heart of the jungle was fraught with danger, and the invisible presence stalking them seemed to grow closer with every passing moment, making their mission even more perilous and urgent. At the heart of the jungle, they discovered a cave protected by ancient runes that emitted a faint glow. Upon entering, they were immediately assaulted by visions of their deepest fears. Xena saw her loved ones in danger, while Gabrielle relived moments of loss and failure. Adara, meanwhile, felt her life force slipping away with alarming speed. Yet, despite the overwhelming illusions, Xena pressed forward with unyielding determination, confronting her fears head-on. After what felt like an eternity, she located the amulet hidden among the cave stones. But as soon as she retrieved it, the cave began to collapse, forcing them to flee in a desperate race against time. Back at the temple, the ritual commenced. Adara, summoning the last remnants of her strength, aided Gabrielle in reciting the sacred words from the ancient book, while Xena defended them from the shadows that continued to assail the group. Thalassa, now fully manifested as a grotesque and towering figure, emerged from the darkness. The creature launched a final furious assault to prevent the activation of the amulet. Xena and Gabrielle fought side by side, using every ounce of their skill and strength to fend off the relentless attacks. Meanwhile, Adara, her voice faint but resolute, uttered the final incantation of the ritual. The tension in the air was unbearable, as everything hinged on this climactic moment. A brilliant flash of light engulfed the temple, blinding the trio momentarily. Thalassa was once again sealed, her monstrous form dissolving into shadows that vanished into the void. However, the victory came at a heavy cost. Adara collapsed, and Gabrielle, overcome with desperation, tried to revive her while Xena held the amulet, now cracked but still emitting a faint glow. The ritual was complete and the prophecy fulfilled, yet the triumph felt bittersweet. Silence fell over the temple, broken only by the sound of the warriors' labored breaths. Adara's life hung by a thread, leaving Xena and Gabrielle grappling with the uncertain aftermath of their hard-won battle. As the trio emerged from the temple, the sight of the Amazons beginning to awaken from their spectral state brought a bittersweet sense of relief. Their once pale forms regained vitality as they returned to the physical world, their expressions of gratitude evident. The women of the tribe surrounded Xena and Gabrielle, recognizing the sacrifices they had made to save them. Adara, unconscious and frail, was carefully carried back to the camp by two Amazons, her condition fragile but not hopeless. Gabrielle walked alongside her, whispering words of encouragement and holding her hand tightly. Xena followed silently, her eyes scanning the horizon, her mind racing with thoughts of the battle and its aftermath. Though they had succeeded, she knew the price had been steep, and the weight of that reality pressed heavily on her shoulders. At the camp, the Amazons quickly organized a ritual of healing for Adara, gathering sacred herbs and chanting ancient prayers under the light of the moon. The air was thick with incense and hope as the tribe worked tirelessly to restore their young guardian. Gabrielle stayed by Adara's side, offering her quiet support, while Xena remained at the edge of the gathering, her gaze distant. The Amazons, now free from the curse that had plagued them, began to sing songs of triumph and renewal. Their voices echoed through the jungle, a celebration of life reclaimed. Gabrielle, attempting to lift Xena's spirits, joined the festivities, recounting their adventure with a mix of humor and awe. Yet, Xena's solemn demeanor betrayed her inner turmoil. The night was alive with joy, but for Xena, the echoes of the battle still lingered. With the first rays of dawn breaking through the jungle canopy, the Amazons extended an invitation to Xena and Gabrielle, asking them to stay and help rebuild their kingdom. It was an offer filled with gratitude and admiration, but Xena knew their journey could not end there. Gabrielle, torn between the bonds they had formed with the Amazons and the call of their shared destiny, looked to Xena for guidance. After a moment of quiet reflection, Xena gently declined the offer, explaining that their path lay beyond the jungle. Gabrielle bid a heartfelt farewell to Adara, who had begun to regain strength, her spirit as unyielding as ever. The Amazons formed a circle around their departing saviors, their voices filled with blessings and promises to honor the legacy left behind. Xena and Gabrielle set off once more, their resolve unshaken. As they retraced their steps through the jungle, Gabrielle leafed through the ancient book they had recovered, her curiosity piqued by its cryptic writings. To her astonishment, a previously unseen page emerged, revealing the existence of another, even greater threat hidden within the world. The text spoke of a force more dangerous than Thalassa, slumbering in the shadows and waiting for the right moment to awaken. Gabrielle shared her discovery with Xena, and the two exchanged a knowing look. Though they had just emerged from one battle, they both understood that their work was far from over. The jungle seemed to acknowledge their departure, the trees swaying as if in farewell. The path ahead was uncertain, but Xena and Gabrielle were prepared to face whatever challenges awaited them together. In the distance, the sharp sound of Xena's chakram slicing through the air broke the stillness, followed by Gabrielle's warm laughter. The camera panned out, capturing the pair as they disappeared into the dense foliage, their figures blending with the vibrant greens of the jungle. The temple stood silent in the background, its ancient walls glowing faintly as the amulet continued to emit a soft light, a testament to their victory. The jungle reclaimed its calm, but the faint whisper of the wind carried a lingering question. Will peace truly endure? As the scene faded to black, the echoes of their triumph resonated, a reminder of their unyielding bond and the challenges they had overcome. Xena and Gabrielle moved forward, their story far from finished, ready to face the next chapter in their legendary journey.